All right, let's get right into it. Today, we are diving deep into a raw, unfiltered guide for building real mental toughness. Now, this isn't about feel-good affirmations or just thinking positive. This is about forging what you might call a calloused mind. It's a process, a series of pretty demanding challenges, all designed to make you more resilient, more disciplined, and frankly, unstoppable. So yeah, let's dive in.
So let's just start with a really direct question. I want you to ask yourself, what's really holding you back? Seriously, what are the long odds you're facing? Is it something from your past, an insecurity you can't shake? Or, and be honest with yourself, are you maybe just getting in your own way? This whole approach demands that you look that question right in the eye.
And that's exactly where we have to start. Section 1 is all about facing your reality. The journey to a calloused mind. It begins with what is probably the hardest step of all. Radical, unflinching honesty with yourself.
And you really have to get this part. The philosophy here is absolutely crucial. This whole process, it is not designed to make you feel good. It's not a self-love tactic. It's about breaking down your own ego, getting past all the convenient stories you tell yourself so you can build something real, something unshakable in its place. So, the first challenge, the first move, is to take inventory. And what that means is you're going to write down every single insecurity, every obstacle, every bad hand you were dealt, every single thing that you think limits you. Now, the point isn't to wallow in it. It's to give your pain a shape, to stare it right in the face, because you're about to use all of that as fuel. And this has to be real. It has to be unavoidable. That's why the accountability mirror is a physical tool. No hiding behind a phone app you can just swipe away. You get real post-it notes. You write down your goals, yes, but also your shortcomings, and you stick them all over your mirror. So every single day, you have to confront them. There's no hiding. And when you finally crush one of those goals, you get the incredible satisfaction of tearing that note down and putting up the next one. It's a powerful, real-world feedback loop.
Okay, so facing your truth, that's step 1. That's the foundation. But now, you have to act on it. And that brings us to section 2. This is about building the habits, because mental toughness isn't just a decision you make one time. No way. It's a muscle, and it's built through consistent, daily action.
We're going to build this discipline on 3 core pillars. First, consciously stepping into discomfort. Second, understanding your true limits with something called the 40% rule. And third, taking absolutely ruthless control of your time.
All right, challenge number 3. It sounds simple, but it's a killer. Do something that sucks every single day. It doesn't have to be some monumental feat. Make your bed, but make it perfect. Go for that run when you really don't want to. Do the dishes right after you eat. By consistently choosing the harder path, even in these small ways, you build the mental strength to handle the truly big challenges when they come.
Now, this is a total game changer. This is one of the most powerful concepts in this whole framework, the 40% rule. It's this idea that our brain, it has a built-in governor, kind of like in a car. It's a safety mechanism that screams at us to quit long before our body is actually done. Just let that sink in. 40%. When your mind is screaming at you, begging you to stop, telling you you're exhausted, you've still got 60% left in the tank. Now, your job isn't to jump from 40 to 100 overnight. That's not how it works. Your job is to just push 5 to 10% further. So instead of 100 push-ups, you do 105. You run that extra quarter mile. Every time you do that, you slowly start to recalibrate that governor in your brain, and you expand what you thought was even possible. Next up, you have to reclaim your time. For one solid week, you just track everything you do. Be a detective. You'll probably find 4, maybe 5 hours of totally wasted time every day. Then, in week 2, you build your optimal schedule. You start blocking out your day into these focused 15 or 30-minute single-tasking chunks. By week 3, you've got this webinized schedule that maximizes every single minute. Okay, so you're facing reality. You're building discipline. You're doing the work. But what happens when you hit that wall? 'Cause you will. What do you do on that day when you feel like you just can't keep going? Well, this next section is about the psychological fuel you're going to need. This is your cookie jar,
And no, it's not about actual cookies, sorry to say. It is way more powerful. This is a mental file of every single time you have ever overcome something. You know, acing that test you studied your butt off for, finishing a brutal workout, quitting a bad habit. You write these down, not to admire them, but to remember what a total badass you are when things get really hard. So when that moment of pure pain or doubt hits, and trust me, it will hit, you mentally reach into that cookie jar. You pull out one of those past victories, you remember that feeling of success, and you use it to power through whatever you're facing right now. It's a mental shortcut to taking back control. Visualization is another huge tool, but it's got to be strategic. We're not talking about just daydreaming about holding the trophy. That's easy. We're talking about visualizing the entire process. The victory, yes, but also the obstacles. What are you going to do when you hit that wall? When you want to quit? You picture the problems and you picture your solutions before they ever happen. That way, you're ready to execute when it gets real.
All right, you've been doing the internal work. You're building that calloused mind. Now it's time to take all of that and apply it to the outside world. Our final section is about using your new mental toughness to outperform everyone, and that includes the person you used to be.
The strategy here is intense. It's called take their souls. And yeah, it is as aggressive as it sounds. It's about approaching any challenge, any opponent, not with mediocrity, not just to get by, but with such overwhelming excellence that you completely dominate the situation. You earn their respect, whether they want to give it to you or not. So, what does this actually look like? Well, let's say your opponent is your boss. You don't just meet expectations. You come in earlier, you leave later. You deliver results that blow their expectations out of the water. You do it until they have no choice but to see your work ethic. You don't just meet the standard, you become the standard. But here's the catch, and it is a big one. You can't just achieve greatness once and then coast. It doesn't work that way. As the slide says, it evaporates like a flash of oil in a hot pan. To be truly uncommon, to be uncommon amongst the uncommon, you have to sustain that effort. You have to stay in constant pursuit. And all of this leads to what might be the single most important skill in this entire process. Because this journey, it is not about never failing. It's about becoming an absolute master at how you respond to failure. So whenever you fail, and listen, you will fail, you don't just get mad and walk away. You conduct an after-action report, an AAR. You write it out. First, what actually went well? Give yourself credit. Then, be brutally, surgically honest about what went wrong and what you can fix. Study that list. And then, this is the most important part. You schedule another attempt as soon as you possibly can. Don't let that failure fester. And that, right there, that is the entire mindset. If you fail again, so be it. You take the pain, you accept it, you repeat the process, you learn from it, you get stronger, and you keep fighting. It is a continuous loop: effort, failure, analysis, and growth. Because ultimately, that's what this all boils down to. This life, it's a mind game. And the only person you're ever truly playing against is yourself. So the question is, how are you going to play it? Thanks for joining us.